All right, here it is, another Wednesday night. Yes, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. So here it is, Wednesday night here in the attic studio, and we're gonna be here at about 9 o'clock as always. And tonight we are going to talk about guitar collections and guitar. Oh, let me look here. What's happening, guys? Brian and hi. Put my better glasses on. Yeah. So anyways, so tonight we're going to talk about like guitar collections and stuff like that. We're going to talk about as always. We'll talk about a lot of everything because that's just the way it always works. We never really talk about really just one thing. We talk about multiple different things, and we just kind of do what we do. But one thing I did want to talk about is guitar collections and what kind of like what goes on with people like collecting guitars, because people collect guitars all the time. Let me fix this thing. This thing is going off like crazy. A little light that thought I was sitting there, and I'm not. But yeah, so guitar collections and stuff like that. People, how many guitars do you actually need? That's the thing. People always ask, what what is it, the thing that you really really need? Why do guitar players have two Strats, two Telecasters, four Les Pauls, Paul Reed Smith, and 6 amps, 20 pedals, and how much of this do you really need? And you guys can chime in here anytime you want and kind of tell me what you think you really need. Being a guitar shop owner and dealing with people all the time that are buying stuff, and I don't mind people buying multiple instruments, but how many guitars do you really need? There is an exception to the rule. The exception to the rule, if you're buying these as a maybe future investment, and when you're buying stuff, you have to be selective if you're buying stuff for collectability. You can't just buy guitars just because you think they're going to become collectible. Like if you're just buying a guitar off the shelf, you went to GC right now and you said, wow, there's a Fender Stratocaster. It's a 2025. It's made in USA. It's got to be worth a bunch of money one day. Maybe not. The odds of that are very slim. And the reason I say that is that today's market is different than it was in the 60s and even the 70s. But even if you look at 70s guitars, they're not worth a whole lot unless they're early, like 70s, 73 back. And some of the 73s aren't worth that much. It's more 72 and back, but some of the 73s are worth, if they're 4-bolt, then there's something. But you have to be when you're buying stuff, even though something will come out, like we get a lot of guitars that the numbers, you'll say limited edition to only 400 guitars or a limited edition to only 50 guitars. I hate to tell you, but a lot of times that's just manufacturing marketing. There's a lot of these guitars that they will say that there's only a certain amount of this guitar. And really all it is like Fender will do that. I mean, I'm kind of sharing a thing that I've kind of suspected for a long time, that it's a plate on the back. They'll say limited edition to this mount. And it's really, there's still 400,000 of them. I have two, okay, two V8, one Les Paul, one vintage Kramer 87. See, the Kramer, now those have gone up. Let's talk about that. We can talk about those. Kramers have gone up. If it's a legit like Kramer, not a Striker, not a Focus, it's an actual Kramer that was made in Japan. Even though they'll say made in USA, they're made in Japan. Kramers were actually parts guitars that were shipped over here to the States and then assembled here in New Jersey. So there were some early ones, but the 87s, like what you have there, that's late in the game. So that's definitely Japanese all the way. But those have become collectible, especially depending on model too. If it's a Night Swan or a Beretta, something like that, those two. If it's a Pacer with 3 pickups in it, not so much. Those aren't quite as collectible. The ones with the pick guards, but the other ones with no pick guard, with like 1 pickup, like the Berettas are, and even the ones that have 2 pickups with no pick guard on them, those are still becoming pretty. People are collecting those, and the reason that is things have cycled around. Things have kind of cycled around. These are guitars that when kids were younger, they saw the rock stars playing them and they wanted, hey, Tony, right? Yes. No, it's Terry. Sorry, Terry. I just had to put my spectacles on there. So the cycle has kind of switched around. So now those people that were younger that always wanted those guitars when they were younger, now they are able to afford those guitars. Unfortunately, they have driven the market on those things through the roof. And are they really worth the money some of these guitars are getting? I mean, sometimes I see some of these Berettas going for $2,500. They are not worth $2,500. They are not worth $2,500. I hate to tell you that. I actually had a little deal with Kramer back then, and I had they sent me a Pacer, and they sent me, yeah, there was 2 Pacers. I had 2 Pacers. I bought one of them. Actually, I did buy one of them. The other one they did send me. So, but I had one that was later on became a Beretta. It was prior to the Beretta name, and it was, I think it was a Pacer, but it was a green Pacer with 1 pickup, no slant. It was just a straight on pickup, and it was a beak neck, as they called back then, because that was prior to them having the, early on they actually had fender head stocks, and then they went to beak necks, and then they went to the banana head stocks, and then the banana head stocks became a full-on point banana. We call them banana, but they're hockey sticks, basically, is what a lot of people call hockey sticks, banana necks, all that. But yeah, so a lot of people, you just don't know what is really collectible and what is not, especially when you're buying stuff new now. we've got many, many years before these things become anywhere near being collectible. Zeph, what's he saying here? What is Zeph saying? Rude dogs here. Yes. So, but yeah, so there's certain guitars that are worth a little bit of money. And like that whole 80s thing has come back around to become something. And like I said, it's because the guys have, that were younger now have become older. They want to buy those guitars that they grew up on when they were younger. Maybe their brother had one, or, maybe they watched MTV and they saw Warrant playing these guitars. Oh, I got to have that guitar because, Alan had one of those. you know, just stuff like that. You kind of go back and you kind of relive your past through a lot of these videos, and you just, you want some of that old nostalgia stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I did that when I was in my 40s. What I did, instead of going back and buying the Kramers like I had back then, I actually went and bought an electric MPC. An electric MPC were these guitars that they made them in the 70s. And I had one when I was a little kid. Well, I guess I wasn't a little kid. I was probably 14, 15 years old. And I had to have one of what I had when I was a kid. And I went and bought one. I actually bought it on eBay. There was one on eBay. It wasn't the exact same color as I had, but it was brown. It was walnut. And the one I had was sunburst with a flame top. And what the electric MPC guitars were, they had two little modules that fit in the very back, and a little cavity back here. The little compartment was underneath here. And they plugged in the back. And there were like probably, I think, 6 or 8 different modules that they made for these guitars. And you had distortion, you had flanging, you had phasers, you had a delay, fuzz, overdrive, all these different ones that you could put in the back of the guitar and change the sound of the guitar just by 2 little toggle switches they had down. They had 2 little flip switches down here, and you turn on module 1 or module 2, or turn them on both together. And that was the one that I went back to get when I was a kid. So that was my main one that I went back and relived my youth, I guess, as you can say. But everybody has that where we want to go back, and my hair is I'm trying to eat my hair. Everybody tries to go back and relive their past through these guitars. And that was the way I did it. I went back from my youth. I didn't go back to go buy an EVH or, something like that, like the Kramer EVH, not a EVH now, but an actual EVH. Now, I've had pretty much most of all those over the years. I bought an Ernie Ball EVH, excuse me, because I thought they were really cool. So I went and bought one of those early on when they first came out. Very cool guitar. I didn't keep it. Somebody actually offered me money and I took it. I still have some of those hair bands. I mean, Steph knows I have his old NYC ESP. I have that somewhere. I have that. That guitar. I was trying to think about where that guitar is. I was trying to figure out where it was. That's one I'm still trying to figure out where that is. I can't find that one. I can't find I have a Jackson Beat Scene one, that USA Beat Scene. It was very, very cool. Cannot find that guitar. Charvel guitars and ESP is on the way. Oh, cool. Also, I think I got a guitar from him. I got a BC Rich NJ series. It's a Japanese one. I talked about use it as a sign, or not a sign, but as a attractor. It attracts people into the booth because it's so bright, and try to buy guitars for that era. If you find it, if you find it for me, I'll I'll see. Man, I said I'll try. I don't. I have looked. I did look. I did kind. Well, I kind of looked. I didn't look totally, but I did kind of look. Um, I'm missing that. I'm missing a 1970. I think it's a 77 Fender Strat hardtail. So lightest Strat that I've ever played in my life. Can't find that. That's gone as well. There's a few guitars I'm kind of missing that I don't know where I put them. Do you get any Charvels from Japan? I just had one. I actually just had one. We had actually I had one a reissue, but I've had several of the older ones as well. I had, what did I have? I had Charvel, a Model 3 and a Model 1. And I think I had a Model 6 not that long ago as well. So yeah, we do get them in. Just about, yeah. I mean, being in that, in a shop like, what I have, you just never know what's going to wander through the door. So, yeah, Steph has some. Yeah, so Steph has some guitars. If you're looking for the Japanese or Charvels and stuff, you might reach out to him. I have no problem with that. That's fine with you. If you want to reach out to him, reach out to him. And I don't. You guys, we can form a community here where everybody has guitars and stuff. We want to trade some stuff between all of us. That's great. That's good with me. I'm always willing to help fellow musicians try to, get together and make things work with them. I'm favoring my arm tonight because I I have to tell you guys my story, and this is not guitar related, but it is kind of funny but not. So my daughter decided a few days ago that, well, I guess I'll start back a little bit. A couple months ago, we had a Great Dane, and he actually was mine and my daughter's Great Dane. But she decided to take him back because she had a big enough house where she could put him in there. So we let him take the dog back. Well, a couple days ago, she called me and said, "Hey, Dad, you'll never guess what? I adopted you a dog. He was only $20. He's just a puppy. He's like a Great Dane though." And she sent me pictures of him, and I went, "Oh no! I don't want a dog. I don't. I already adopted him, Dad. You have to take him." So, needless to say, have this Great Dane. He's 135 pounds. He's 48 inches tall, and he's strong as all can be. He's about a year old. He may not even be a year old. His teeth are tiny, so he's low. And he's got a lot more room to grow. He's going to get bigger. So this dog today, he's new. I tried to take him and put him back in this room that we have a bedroom just for dogs. I go to put him back in the room. He doesn't want to go back in the room, and he ain't going back in the room. I have him on his leash. I take him back there. I got him in the room. He turned around and bolted out the room with me on the leash. Bolted out, twist me around, slam me up against a wall, or actually against a door. There's a door across the hallway. I went through that door and then down on the ground. So Needless to say, this arm here is really, really sore. I actually went to the ER. And they had to X-ray it and stuff like that. It's really sore. It says maybe sprained, but as long as it's not, I thought it was out of the circuit because at first it was just kind of hanging there, and I just didn't have much use for it. No Slayer tonight. I'm not playing any Slayer tonight because, like I said, just told the story about the dog. So my arm is not in the mood for Slayer. I make it. I made it on time. Yes, you did. You did. Rocky Mountain. Well, that's all downstrokes. That's easy. There you go. Anyways, so my arm is messed up. Kind of hurts. I do have a gig this weekend. I have 2 gigs this weekend to play. So luckily it's not 4 like I did last week. Speaking of gigs last week, you guys are gonna love this. I played a place called Lou's Blues in Indianapolis. Usually when we play Lou's, I go in there, I take my quad cortex, I stick it on the ground, plug it in the PA, and just run it back to the monitors. Show up, there's this guy working there. And I'm like, where's Billy? Because Billy's the guy that had been there forever. He didn't say anything. He goes, "Oh, I got you taken care of." I said, first of all, he said, "Where's your amp?" I said, "That is my amp." He's like, how's that going to work? I said, "You're going to feed it back through the monitor, and I'm going to listen to the monitor. That's I'm going to have my feed for my guitar." He's like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, wow, I got a problem. Because all of us are direct. Everybody except the drummer. Drummer's got acoustic drums. But everybody else is direct. So I'm the first one he's dealing with running, direct. So he's trying to give me sound. He's like pulling the faders up on his tablet and stuff. He's, hello, I don't know. And he's going, "There must be something wrong with your stuff." What? Because you really need to bring amp when you come to places because this stuff doesn't work. I checked the tuning and stuff on the guitar. I said, "There's feed in this guitar going to that thing. It's working fine. It's you that don't know how to work your thing. You need to figure that out." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll keep messing with it." And finally, he does come up with it where I get a little bit of signal. I said, "That's fine. I got some signal." And it's out front. It's in the mains and the main, but monitors are, not so good. So the other guys come in. Same thing. He's like, "Oh, where's your amp?" We're direct, dude. "Oh, okay. Well, plug it in and let me see if I hear anything." And he goes through the whole thing, and once again, "You guys should really bring amps. I don't know why you did this. It's like, because we do this all the time. Billy never had a problem with it. You're the one that has a problem with it." "Oh, well, I don't know. There's something wrong with your stuff." Like, oh boy. He's got his Army veteran thing on, and I went up after the show and actually said something to him, but I'll tell you that after I get through the whole thing here, the story. It went, First set went through, kind of heard little guitar, little second guitar. Bass was kind of not really there. The vocals were all there. Second set, we're playing, and by that time, the bass player had said, "That's it. I did bring my cabinet and out front. I'll just bring it in." He brought his rig up, but I don't have a cabinet. The singer and his guitar doesn't have a cabinet, so we're both SOL completely. Get up there playing, we're doing our thing, and then cuts out, comes back on, cuts out, comes back on, playing along, cuts out again, comes back on, cuts out, keeps doing this. And then finally, I'm in the middle playing, I think it was Summer '69. And the whole PA goes, except for the mains, but the whole monitors, everything gone. And he's like, I can see him bewildered back there at the booth, just like looking at us like we're going, we got no monitors. Oh, well, I don't know. He's like touching stuff, trying to figure it out. He can't figure it out. So this half the second set, which are all an hour long. So we're looking at, at least a half hour, maybe 40 minutes of us playing with no monitors. During the break, went up there, tried to figure out. He's like, well, no, I can't. It's your stuff that's causing it. I said, so you're telling me my mics, everything caused all this? Yeah, that's all your stuff. That's not my stuff. I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm livid by now. I'm pissed. I'm really pissed at this guy. And next up, we go up and we play with no monitors. I'm sitting there talking to the drummer as he's playing. Gee, this is a lot of fun. You having fun playing by yourself? The bass player can play with him, but the bass player's not really loud or anything. But I can talk. We can talk on stage over everything because the sound is so low on stage. The way this place is, the mains actually are pretty far forward, so we're not getting much of the mains at all. We don't really hear it. I'm actually, during some of my solos, I actually walked to the edge of the stage, which this place sits up. It's a 2-story building, and the stage is on the second story. So the dance floor is down here. So people are like down here dancing. We're way up here. And the PA is up here as well. And they do have a couple of speakers, I think, aimed down at the dance floor. But we're playing, and I'm kind of sticking my head kind of around the rail and stuff, trying not to fall off so I don't fall to the second floor. And I'm kind of like listening to see if I can hear what's going on through the PA as we're playing. I get done with the show. I walked up to the guy and I said, I want to thank you for your service for the Army. I really do appreciate it. I'm totally in favor of all the vets and everything. But did you go to boot camp? He goes, yeah. I said, well, you need to go to boot camp for sound now. He goes, what? I said, yeah. You're not good, dude, and you're not qualified for this. In fact, I'm firing you. He goes, what? I said, you're fired. He goes, you can't fire me. You're not my boss. I said, you're fired as my sound guy. Never again will I ever play this club. If I walk here and see you sitting back here, I'm leaving. You're fired. This guy's like, couldn't believe it. He was like, oh my God, it was terrible. It really was terrible. Maybe a tutorial for ampless gigs. Best practices. Well, here's my advice for you for ampless gigs. If you've got a quad cortex, a Kemper, a head rush, a helix, any of them, even any of the new little new X's, anything like that, Tone X. Always have a cabinet, a powered cabinet, just in case you run into like what I did. Some kind of small powered speaker. You can go, get like some kind of small thing, just something to put on the stage you can plug into so you have some sound. Unlike me, who didn't have any sound, or Kenny, my singer, he didn't have any sound as well. But we didn't have any monitors to like our singing voices. That was bizarre in itself. I it was like we were sitting in a house just singing with each other. That's how weird it was. It was like we are just practicing harmonies in the house with no PA. Um, um, but yeah, so that's my advice right now. I know right now, after doing that gig, I will always bring a powered cabinet with me, always, as a backup, because I'm not going to rely on a sound guy unless I'm doing the NASCAR gigs. Now, if I do the NASCAR gigs where I know I'm going to walk into a situation where this guy is a sound guy, he's been doing it for 40 years. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for 30 years. He graduated from sound school. He knows what he's doing. I don't have to worry about walking into something like that where I know I'm going to be stuck not hearing anything like I was the other night. Oh my. Anyways. So, hey, if you are new in here and you never been on the channel before, please hit the like and subscribe button. Please become part of the channel. Last week we had a few people watching the show as we did it. I didn't gain any subscribers, and I was like really disappointed at that, because I kind of do this trying to get subscribers, more subscribers to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm not going to hound you. All it does is it triggers the algorithms to have more people watch the show or watch my videos that are coming out. We've got one coming out that I just need to post it. So, anyways, so that's my pitch for the day. Try to get you. I did get a new light back here. You like my new light? Prime Day was this past week, or Prime Week, whatever it was, Prime Days, and they had these Govee lights, that little stick thing, for $35. I said, that's a deal, because they're normally like $70, $35 score. Because I had been setting up my can lights to have some light in here back there to kind of give me a little mood, and this time from now on, we will have Mr. Govee back there, and I can change the colors if I want. There's some pretty wild colors that go on there, and I was gonna have some kind of like firework thing going on, and then I remembered, no, you don't do that, because some people have pacemakers, and you might trigger something on somebody's pacemaker or PTSD or whatever. So I don't want to do that. So, so. All right, let's see what we got here. Anybody else? Junior samples. No junior samples tonight. So, do you like my glasses? I don't know what these are. I don't know if they're not pink. They're kind of orange. So, but so we're talking about guitars and stuff. People collecting guitars. I was talking about that before I went on my rampant about the crazy sound guy that didn't know how to run sound, that was actually getting paid by a club to run sound. Oh, I know. I will talk about another thing. They also told him to play this playlist of rap music. Now, this place is called Lou's Blues. There are in this club, there might have been 2 black people in the place. They look like beach black people. What I mean by they look like they lived on the beach, and they were just like all the other white people in the club. They weren't like Nobody's pants were down to their ankles or anything like this. And what did this guy play? Totally rap, like ghetto rap. I mean, it's like boom, boom, and then everything was and this and it was just like my Virgin Cruise, but worse. It was like who in the world told this guy to play this stuff? And and we actually asked him who told him to do that. He said the owner. And I was like, dude, I actually DJ some clubs. And I've DJed for a long time. I've done weddings and clubs and stuff for many years. When I wasn't playing music, I was DJing. And I told him, give me a line, let me plug in my my phone. I've got a full playlist that I use when I work at this place where I'm working this week. I'll be at Traders in New Smyrna this weekend, and I'll DJ on my breaks. And I said, let me plug that in. I'll keep the dance floor rocking the whole night. No, can't do that. They said to play this music. I'm like, oh, who told you this? The owner told me this. I said, the owner may be trying to kill this place. And that's basically what he's. We talked about this last week. We talked about the Carnival cruise ship thing, how all the people are complaining because they aren't playing rap on the ship anymore. He's like, they're racist because they ain't playing rap music in the clubs no more. They ain't playing boots on the ground. They won't play the wobble no more. They're racist. It's a business decision. Just like I was trying to convince this guy, this is a business decision. Do you want people to come in your club or you do not want people to come in club? If you play that type of music in a club that is predominantly white beach people, because this place is right on the ocean, you're going to bring the people that listen to that type of stuff. And most of those people are there to drink and get in fights. Not most of them, but a lot, they will. I mean, Carnival's finding that out right now, or they have been finding out that it draws a certain person. They drink too much, the rap music gets in their soul, and they want to fight somebody. Just kind of like when you go to it's the same way. It's not just rap music. You go to a country bar, and I've been to some country bars. I played some country bars with chicken wire and the whole thing. You get into some of those places, and it's the same thing. You start playing some old school country music, some redneck countrified music, and you're gonna have a couple fights in the night. You're gonna have some guys fighting. I've seen it a billion times. So it's not just rap music that creates this element. It's rap music for the ghetto person and country. Now old school boots kicking country that gets those guys that been working all day on a roof, like, I'm gonna go get drunk. You get these guys and they're gonna get in a fight. I used to watch it all the time. We played this place. Actually, the place I saw a lot of it was the place I'm playing this weekend, Traders. There was a time period where everybody went to Traders to fight. It was a fighting place. Everybody, all the bands would be up there playing and stuff. And on the breaks, they would play country. And here come the rednecks. And they get in there and let's fight. And then you got to fight. Big fight, melee. You ever seen the movie Roadhouse? Has anybody seen the movie Roadhouse? The original version of Roadhouse. Anybody seen it? If you have, let me know if you have in the comments there. That is a movie that is so true with a lot of places. especially out in the sticks. You get these guys, all they want to do is fight. Yeah, Steph is saying it. A great movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. Actually, we just watched it. We watched it on the Virgin cruise we went on. It was on pay-per-view, and me and my wife watched it. It was like, yeah, we're gonna watch this for sure. We love this movie. So, but that's kind of what happens with some certain music. It's like I wouldn't go on a cruise ship either if it was Slayer Day. I know my Slayer fan in here. Who's it? Damned? Yeah, Damned. He's always requesting Slayer. I don't suggest you have a cruise full of Slayer, Motorhead, Megadeth, Morbid Angel. Like, actually, I take that back because most of the people, because I used to slam dance back many years ago. And most of the time we used to slam dance and you bounce into each other, you knock a person down, they help you back up, you go back out and you keep doing it. It's kind of a camaraderie. It's kind of, you're like a team together. Everybody's like, yeah, we're all out here to have fun and bounce off each other. And yeah, somebody might get hurt, but it's all in good fun, right? Pretty much. So I'd probably be safer. I think people would be safer on a cruise ship or in a club that was playing nothing but hardcore metal, death metal, black metal, all of it. You'd probably be safer in a place like that than you would be in a redneck bar or ghetto club. I'm serious. Anybody else agree with me on this? You just think I'm crazy? We're not getting a delay channel so much. Wait, you want to hear some delay? Here's some delay. Major delay. Where are the people at tonight? I don't know. We've got 14 people tonight. I don't know where the people are tonight. I have no idea. But we got to get more people. Like I said, we've got to get some like and subscribing in here, guys. If you haven't already, please do, because otherwise the algorithms will not trigger this thing, and we will not have as many people. We got to get to where we have a lot of people watching this thing, so it's worthwhile for me to do them. So, you guys got that? Otherwise, I'll be just clipping all these things up and making them into shorts. But yeah, so that was pretty much major delay on that one. That's it was an Egnator rig with a major delay on it. Now back to the bottom massa rig. So, anyways, so we got a little bit of time left. We got about 15 more minutes left here in the tonight's show, as we've talked about vintage guitar collector and just guitar collecting in general. So just talk about people that don't just go buy a new guitar and think that that you're just going to go buy a new guitar and it's going to be worth something one day, because it probably won't. Even if it's limited number, it probably won't be, because more than likely the manufacturer have made the same guitar but has a different plate on it, and they just, well, there's only 14 of these. No, there's not. It's not like the aluminum guitars. Now, Fender made some aluminum guitars in the 1990s, um, and the 94 editions they were 40th anniversary. They made them in, I think, 3 or 4 different colors, and that was it. They had, one was an American flag, one was a purple haze, and I think the other one was like kind of a reddish thing. And they did make, there were some out there. I just saw one pop up not too long ago. It was just an aluminum one. It's completely aluminum. And I do think they made a Playboy Bunny one and a Harley Davidson as well. And those were even pretty limited as well. But like the 94 editions of those Strats, there were very low numbers. I know there were 14 of the American flag and only 27 of like the purple haze and the other one. And the Tellys were pretty rare from what I understand. I've never had one of the Tellys, but those, I know they're out there, and they're pretty rare. So those were a couple of guitars that I actually do have some of those somewhere. Another somewhere. Oh gosh, I had one time I had a lot of guitars. I had almost 200 or so guitars, and some of them I just don't know where they are anymore. I know I sold a bunch off, but I know there's some that I haven't sold, and I know they're out there. Just don't know where. What do we got here? I saw what Reber says it's worth. What it's worth. I know what you got. What I got. Yeah. I love that little thing. People will come into the shop and they'll say, "Got this Paul Reed Smith here. Reverb says it's worth $10,000. Don't try to lowball me." Really? Okay. You do realize Reverb is not a price guide, right? Made you laugh. Yes, exactly. You did make me laugh, because I deal with that all day long. That is, and lately it is, the door has been swinging a lot coming in. Not a lot of people going out with guitars, people coming in for guitars, or coming in with guitars. eBay is much better. I agree. I'm 100% right there with you. eBay is definitely more of a realistic game. You want to know what your stuff is worth? Go on eBay. Don't go on Reverb, because remember, Reverb is mostly people like you people. They're not like me, because I actually own a brick and mortar shop, but they're more like you, and you're like, well, I'm pretty sure my guitar's worth this amount. I have a 1999 Fender Stratocaster. It's worth $15,000. I know, because I saw one on Reverb. Then you go on eBay and you look and see 1990 Fender Stratocaster. Wow, one just sold for $950. That's what it's worth. That's what it's worth. I hate to tell you, because there's probably 6 or 7 all in the same range. So anyways, but that's kind of like we talked about that with the whole market thing. That's cool. Slash shirt. No, it's not a slash shirt. Your friend, the other Adam. That's a cool slash shirt. Your friend, the other Adam the Woo. Oh, I know who that is. That's Lex. But it's not. That's not a. Look at it. This is a Sir Henry's Haunted Trail. By the way, we have Halloween coming up very soon. That means Halloween season is just upon us. Universal Studios have already released tickets for Halloween Horror Nights, as well as Hollow Scream has for Busch Gardens, all their parks up there. I believe a Carowinds in North Carolina has as well, and up there in Charlotte, or it's not. It's really not Charlotte. It's it's half and half Charlotte. They have they released their tickets. Sir Henry's has released their tickets just a couple days, so they're already selling tickets for Halloween events. Woohoo! I'm ready. It's a lot of bullshit. Yes, there is a lot of it. Yes, there are a lot of fakes up there. What's Gene Simmons doing? Lex, only you would notice that. Gene Simmons? What is Gene Simmons? Gene Simmons is on a rocket ride. Gene Simmons went to Adam and Eve, the fun superstore, and picked up this pocket rocket, and he's riding it. The show has definitely now gone down the tube here, and we're definitely not no longer PG. We're now PG-13. So, am I correct? Put it right in the gutter. Right in the gutter. Thanks, Lex. Appreciate it. I know, we're in Florida, so a lot of people, if you look back through my videos, you've seen where we got hammered with one hurricane last year, and hurricane season is upon us once again. So this is my time of year that I kind of start getting freaked out. And Lex, my friend on here, has always been gracious enough to say, hey, if you need a place to go, let me see if my place is open. You can go on the other side of the coast. Luckily, I haven't had to take him up on that offer, but Lex is a good guy. Just put that out for us. So we call him Adam the Woo. Does anybody know who Adam the Woo is? If you're out there, let me know if you know who Adam the Woo is. I have another friend that we call him Adam. His name is Adam Wood. So I always call him Adam Woo. And he hates it. But Lex here is a dead ringer for Adam the Woo. You can look him up. Adam is a former bass player. I think he's not a former bass player. He's a bass player that played in a bunch of punk bands in the 90s and played in one. It was Guttermouth. I think that was one that was signed. He was actually signed at one point to an independent label. So looking around my room, I promise I do not have any of your guitars. Good, thank you. I'm glad you don't have any. Well, I would like you to have some of my guitars. You can always buy something from me. I'm always selling guitars. Let's go on my website. Go on Facebook. I just posted a bunch of really cool guitars. Facebook Guitar Attic. There are 2 guitar attics up there, by the way. There's one for the store and there's one for a community chat about musical gear, not gear, but musical gigs and stuff like that. So, but the one, if you go on the Guitar Attic on Facebook, you can see I've got tons of guitars all listed up there. Some are gone, some are not, but you can always check them out. Oh, sorry, guys. My new puppy likes to get up at 6 o'clock. And I don't do 6 o'clock. I usually like to sleep till about at least 8, maybe 8:15. But Opie, the Great Dane, says, hey, it's time to get up. I want to go outside. All right, Steph, you out of here, man. We'll see you later. We've got about 5 minutes left in the show. So okay, I read that one. All right, anyways, so we talked a little bit about all this stuff. Now, speaking of collectors and stuff, people actually have good stuff. One of my friends in here, one of the guys I know, there's a guy in here. Actually, Steph was another one. I think Steph's got a bunch of guitars, but another guy I know has on here that has a bunch of guitars, and he does have guitars from me, which is good. So, anyways, so remember, if you're just in here and you just got in here, please hit the like, subscribe button, and I won't hound you. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm just trying to grow the algorithm or trigger it. I know that's kind of who I was alluding to. Was you? I wasn't going to say it was you, but you have ratted yourself out that you have a few guitars. A few guitars. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. It's nothing wrong with having a bunch of guitars. And if you buy the right ones and you buy them at the right price, it's always a good thing. It's always a good thing. It's funny. I was looking at Mark. Who was Mark? I think I can't remember. He has a video up thing, and he talked about this guy came in his shop, and the guy bought him this old ES guitar, and guy paid like 168 bucks for it. And then he did the math to see what it was worth back then compared to what it would be now. And really, with inflation and everything out like that, the guy broke even for the money it was worth, and he got paid. He broke completely even. He didn't lose any money, but he had this guitar since the 50s, and he sold it recently. He broke even. And I can see that. Not all guitars are a 58 Burst. Not all guitars are a 59 Flying V or a 59 Explorer. Not all guitars are a 54 Strat or something like that. They don't all increase in value as quick as you think they do. Lots of people think they do, but they don't. Once again, reverb is not a price guide. Oh, but anyways, so anybody want me to play anything before I leave? Anybody need any tips on anything that I can kind of show you? Would you like to know how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb? Here you go. Right? How about Doodah? Camptown. Is that Camptown Races? I think it is. Green Day. That. Blink-182. Round and round. Why don't you sustain, you stupid piece of crap? Anyways, that didn't. That wasn't good. That was terrible. So I don't play that song. I've learned it, but I have played it with people, but it's been a while. So, anyways. So you guys, I hope you guys are having a good week. All the fun stuff like that. I'm about ready to wrap up out of here and head to bed because, like I said, I've been up since 6 o'clock because of the new puppy dog that will not be here much longer. I'm going to have to give him back to my daughter and let her deal with him, because I can't deal with a 135-pound Great Dane that likes to wake up at 6 and has separation anxiety. Can't do it. Just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, she'll take him back and she'll enjoy the dog at her house, just not mine. So, anyways, it is time for me to head out of here and go that way. That way. Yeah, Gene, what do you think, man? We're about ready to go? Yeah, Gene says we're getting out of here. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Once again, please, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button yet, please hit it on your way out and help me out. I do appreciate it very much. So, until next week, same time, 8 o'clock, Wednesday, live feed Wednesdays. It's so long from the Sunshine State. Bye.